This Week with Bob Mueller on News 2.
This week,
in terms of the vision for a bigger Tennessee, a Tennessee for all, that I look forward to unveiling legislation that builds that narrative.
she is the youngest woman serving in the State House, the only woman representative from Nashville, and the first woman to represent District 51 in 50 years. You will hear from Afton Bain.
Just very glad that this law has been ruled unconstitutional.
Nashville wins a big court case as a judge rules the state's attempt to take control of the airport board is unconstitutional.
Prematurely early start times, particularly for adolescents, are problematic.
Should high schools and middle schools in Tennessee begin classes later in the day? We take a look at the pros and cons.
It is a time to be concerned.
And the war in Israel produces concerns in the U.S. as anti-Semitic incidents are on the rise. Hello again and welcome to another edition of This Week. As the war in Israel rages on, a dangerous byproduct is a rise in anti-Semitic incidents in the U.S. A renewed debate here in Tennessee about changing early start times for high school and middle school students. She won a special election and is now the youngest female member of the Tennessee General Assembly. You will hear from Afton Bain, but we begin with a federal judge ruling a Republican-backed law allowing a state takeover of the Nashville Airport Authority is unconstitutional.
What's old is new again at BNA after a 3-judge panel ruled against the state putting Metro Nashville selected Airport Authority members back on the board, a decision state Democrats are celebrating.
Just very glad that this law has been ruled unconstitutional. It was designed to punish Nashville for purely political purposes.
The law gave state Republican leaders the power to pick the members of the board that oversees the Nashville airport. Now that it's been overturned, that power will go back to Nashville's mayor.
Petty bills that were passed to repudiate and create ill will with Nashville is just not the way to govern.
The judges wrote in this law, quote, Metro was singled out, violating the Tennessee Constitution, which says the state can't create laws targeting one municipality. One quote in the decision actually came from House Bill sponsor Johnny Garrett. This legislation only relates to this particular airport with this particular situation. There's no way I could predict or try to create a hypothetical about what might happen to the other airports. Garrett responded to this ruling on social media, posting, "The court's decision on the airport authority is a major setback for transparency and fair representation for Tennessee taxpayers. We will continue to fight for the success of our state's investments. I appreciate the hard work of the Attorney General, and I look forward to an appeal." Meanwhile, Democrats hope this puts an end to the GOP's efforts to pass bills they feel target Nashville.
So let's focus on bills that help Nashville, that help bring up the economy, that help our citizens instead of try to punish shiny objects that are actually working quite well on its own.
Should high schools and middle schools begin classes later in the day? It's been a topic of conversation for quite some time and something Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell still believes should change. News 2's Miranda Whittington with more on the positive and negative impacts of making the change.
We know from years of comprehensive research that prematurely early start times, particularly for adolescents, are problematic. From
changing middle and high school start times.
We have the earliest high school start times in the entire nation.
Has been something Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell has been vocal about for years. Data from the CDC, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and other national health organizations support this sentiment, recommending teens from ages 13 to 18 years old get around 8 to 10 hours of sleep per day for good health.
And I think teachers also would benefit from more sleep as well.
J.C. Bowman with the Professional Educators of Tennessee says a change in start times is something he believes most teachers would be in favor of.
I think that they'll have a kid that's more alert and more willing to do the assignments and pay better attention in class.
But the concerns range from impacts to athletics, to students who work after school, and bus route logistics.
That is one of the biggest issues to resolve, is what would be the impact. Could you make an adjustment for high schools that then reduces impact on middle and elementary school drop-offs?
there may be very good reasons why they want to start at 7:05.
Last year, Representative John Ray Clemens filed a bill that later failed, aimed at later start times, but says this issue is one he won't give up on.
Look, I really believe in this. I really believe that our high school students are starting school way too early. It's not good for their learning ability. It's not good for their mental health and well-being, and it also creates public safety concerns.
But until Metro Nashville Public Schools decides to make a change, not much can be done.
Very clearly, we do not expect to take any action on this without coordinating extremely closely with Metro Schools.
In Nashville, Miranda Whittington, News 2.
Now to our This Week cover story. Tennessee has experienced significant growth in the manufacturing of electric cars. But what about actual electric vehicle usage? As State Capitol reporter Chris O'Brien found out, the state is trying to build the infrastructure to ease drivers' concerns.
Can you hear it? Well, if you said yes, you're either lying or have impeccable hearing. Electric cars, though quiet, have loudly burst onto the scene in Tennessee the last few years. The main issue, though, has been infrastructure.
Infrastructure has been the chicken and the egg.
It's a tough sell for car companies. Do you invest in electric vehicle manufacturing when there really aren't enough charging ports yet? Or do you risk getting left behind once the infrastructure catches up? Which in Tennessee, the Department of Environment and Conservation is trying to do through a program called the Fast Charge Network.
It's building out fast charging infrastructure along really all Tennessee major roadways. So that includes the interstates, as well as some secondary U.S. and state highways.
Of course, Tennessee politics haven't exactly helped the push. The majority of Tennessee's congressional delegation has consistently voted against changes favoring electric vehicles. At the same time, this year, the state passed a bill from the governor that increases EV fees from $100 a year to nearly $275 by 2026. But the industry hopes newer, younger lawmakers have a different mindset.
The next generation will be the lawmakers in place that are way more entrenched and understanding of the perspective of sustainability.
Still, TDEC is making progress. In 2023 alone, Tennessee has added 9 rapid charging stations, effectively doubling its total fleet.
Most of Tennessee is very rural, and we're seeing that communities are seizing these opportunities, basically saying, hey, if we bring this infrastructure to our town, that's going to invite folks to come visit our town.